Hello, everybody. If you are looking for a resource to help you with your planning and to really get going with our curriculum here in Alberta, Pearson's Mathology is the resource that Grasslands Public Schools has supported our teachers with. So I'd like to demystify this for you. Hopefully this just takes a little bit of pressure off of you and makes your life a little bit easier. Now I'm going to just show you how to get where you need to be. First of all, log in. If you don't have your login credentials, just email us coaches and we will get you set up. Now my last homeroom class for math was a grade 6 class, so I'm going to start there. Right away, I click on grade 6 and you can see a sample plan by unit for Alberta. So you know this is going to support all of your curriculum here in Alberta. You don't need to wonder about, oh, does this work or does this not work? This works. This supports everything you need to do. Once I see that, yep, this is what I want, I'm going to go ahead and click this green button on the right-hand side that says Use Sample Plan, and I'm going to simply name it. So how about I say this is our 2025-2026 grade 6 math. This is going to be our year plans, our unit plans, and our lesson plans all in one. It really does make your life easy. Every single grade starts with interactive math tools. So this you can pop up onto your smartboard, ViewSonic, whatever you have, whatever interactive system you have. Super easy, super user-friendly. Now, once you look down the side, if you decide that, okay, I actually want to do maybe a different order. Maybe I want to start with patterning. I'm going to click on this patterning and just bump up that to the beginning. As a teacher, I'm then going to look at my year calendar and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to start this from September 3rd, and we're going to work on this until September 19th. I'm just picking dates. This is just an example. You're going to actually do this work. Press enter. This is now my new title for this section, okay? You're going to go through, then let's say if I'm like, okay, my planning for this is going to go from September 20th to November 5th. Press enter. You know that's your time period. So you can see how you take these year plans and you start to make them your own. Once I click on this first unit here, Section 2 is where you're going to find your unit plan. So Section 1 is your year plan. Section 2 is your unit plan with your day plans embedded. Again, this really takes a whole lot of work out for you. This is your year plan, unit plan, daily plan, assessment, intervention, everything all in one resource. So I'm going to start just by clicking to give you an idea of what these lessons look like. So this is our pre-assessment before we start the unit. About the task is going to give you a description about what you're doing. It'll give you an idea about your timeline, what size of group. This is a whole class, our focus, and look at this. Our curriculum is embedded. You don't have to worry. When you use Mathology, all of your outcomes are being met here. You're going to see processes and competencies on all of the lessons, and then, love this, learning progressions. I don't know about your class. Every class I ever had students who were not working at grade level. And sometimes, especially if math is not your background, it gets a little bit tricky. What do I do with the students who don't understand what I'm doing? Doing less, doing it louder, doing it closer to them is not an intervention. Those are going to be some supports that some students absolutely need. But when they're not understanding, when they're not functioning at grade level, we need to figure out why. Where is that gap? And this here is going to lay it out for you. So if I click this left button here, I can read the skill or knowledge indicator that comes prior to where I'm at currently. Do they understand this? Nope. Maybe it's this one. And I can go back until I figure out exactly where my student is functioning. So I might go back to here and say, oh yes, nope, they absolutely demonstrate understanding. This is the gap I need to fill before my student can work at grade level or at the concept that I'm currently teaching. So that's in all of them as well. Now, what is the task? Here it is. It gives you the summary of your lesson here. There's a PDF and a Word document for all of the resources in Mathology. So if you're like, you know what, I need easy PDF it is, print it off. But if you want to tweak things and make it your own, the Word document is a great choice for you. So if I click on the PDF, just to give you an idea, this is what it looks like. I just press print and There I go. Now the teacher portion of that is where you're going to get your answer key. Also really important. Now at the bottom of your teacher part, it also goes one step further. Remember, this is a readiness task. So this is going to let you know as a teacher where are your students at in their understanding of this concept. So if you look at question number 1 and where your students are, this is the grade 5 concept that leads into today's lesson. Here's the grade 6. If they're not understanding it, I'm going to go back to this Mathology 5, because remember I'm in the grade 6, and look at that lesson, see what my students need. So you can see right away all of these really just simplifies your life for you. Once students are ready to go on, we're going to get started with this unit, and this is going to take you right there. If you have students where you're like, oh, question number 1, I had 5 students who just really did not understand what they're doing. I can actually pull up the supporting lesson from the grade 5 resources. You have access to everything with Mathology, not just the grade you're teaching. And this lesson is going to fill in that gap for you. So whether you decide the next day you're going to do a small group, or if you have a sponge period, something like that, you can then fill the holes with that. Okay, let's go backwards here. That was our readiness task. Then you're going to see a series of activities. Every one of the units look a little bit different in how many lessons are in each one, but they all have these same styles of lessons. So these are your activities, and then consolidation comes at the end. That's where you're going to get to the point where you are assessing your students. So if I just pull up any one of these activities here, again, about is there, focus, curriculum, your competencies, learning progression. Again, this is what's going to help you with your intervention groups, whether it be modifying lower or extending it up. What is the lesson? PDFs, Word documents, you're going to pull them up. Your slides can be shown, on your screen as a PDF or in your PowerPoint, whichever one works for you. And here, this is interesting because this lesson actually has a link to the interactive tool. So here's your instructions with your input-output machine. When you click on that, it's going to pull that up so that you are able to play around with this lesson. Really, really user-friendly. So before we start our lesson, this is like the hook of your lesson. This is getting started. This is what I'm doing. It walks me all the way through it. It tells me what to say. It's very, very easy to follow. And then working on it, this is the chunk, the body of your lesson where students are working. Again, this little picture here, that's going to be one of your slideshow images. And then consolidation. So at the end of the lesson, what am I going to have my students practicing? Everything is in here. So if I click on this again, you're going to print this off. This is kind of like your student workbook, if you will, where they're going to work through it and you're able to assess that. So makes this really nice and easy for you. Now, look for us as the teacher. This is going to be particularly helpful for those of you who do not have a background in teaching mathematics or numeracy. These are going to be like, oh, what am I actually looking for in my students? It's right there. Now, if you have not looked at Grassland's AP 841, which is our planning policy, it actually says that we need to be identifying what questions we want to ask students. Luckily enough, again, Mathology does this work for us. I actually, as a teacher, would write down key questions that I wanted to ask my students as I was teaching so that I remembered to ask them as I was going around, because sometimes you get so busy that it's just hard to remember all of the things. Now, assessment, again, this is your all-in-one planning document. I can go through at the end of the lesson, or if I have an iPad, I can be going from group to group, or they can be coming to me, however you have your classroom set up. And there is going to be a paper of 8 different boxes here. You can also print that assessment paper. So if I just bring up that PDF, I can print this and write students' names or observations. It's a whole class in there, makes it really easy. But if I like the digital piece, I'm going to actually go into here, add in all of my students under my classroom, and then I'm just going to drag and drop them, put them exactly where I'm seeing their understanding. I can even write some notes around, okay, this is what David did, and all of my comments are in there, which makes report cards that much easier because you have all of your comments for your students. So you can see how this really is an all-in-one tool. Your year plan, your unit plan, your day plan, your intervention groups, my next steps. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to extend. possible misconceptions. I love this feature. Sometimes when students are just getting it wrong, you're like, I don't even know where to go. What's going on here? And that's because students are missing something. And this is going to identify often what those are. We talk a lot about literacy in all content areas. Again, Mathology has thought of everything. When you look at your word wall, whether students are doing a math journal themselves, or if you're identifying words that all of your students need to have collectively as a class and you've got it somewhere, everything you need is in here. So if your students need to understand what a dependent variable is, you can click on that and it gives you the definition right in there. Again, related lessons, everything you need is all in this kind of one-stop shop. Now, the very last section I also want to introduce to you is this section 3. Let's say you've already been up and running, you've been with the new curriculum, or you've been teaching and you've got some lessons that you know are going to support the outcomes. You can add them right here. So you can add them from other grades, right from Mathology, or you can add a non-Mathology lesson. You can call it whatever you want. You can say what type of file it is, give it a description, and then add the URL. Once you do that, it's going to pop up in here. These up and down arrows, same thing as your year plan. You can move the order of the lessons that you're going to teach. Now, when you read through these lessons, there's often more lessons than what you're going to have time for. You can just remove any lesson that you don't want from your year plan, and then you won't see it up there. Pin the ones that you want to keep. So you can see this of 5. That means there's 5 lessons in this section. If I click down to geometry here, you can see, okay, we start with a readiness task. We've got these activities in here and then a consolidation, but you may not want to do all of these lessons. Some of these may not be either relevant or you have something different that you want to supplement in. You can absolutely go ahead and do that. Now, once you've got your whole year done, you've put in your dates, your timelines, which we need for our planning documents with Grasslands, you have your unit plans done, you've got your day plans, and you're like, Crystal, I really like paper. I want to print this off, get this in my binders so that if I don't have access to the internet, I have it. Well, they've got you with that too. This green button on the right-hand side, you're just going to put export to docx and you're going to be able to export it, no problem. If you are fortunate enough to have another colleague that you do planning with, maybe there's multiple grade 6 classrooms in your school, you can press share and then you and your colleagues will have the same planning documents together. So you can build this all together and then share it so that you both have your own independent copies of it and you know that you're on the same page. So I hope that was helpful. As you can see, this is just really takes a lot of the work out of what you're doing. You can add things, you can remove things, you can change the orders. Everything is here for you. Now, wherever you need some support, reach out to one of the coaches. We are here to support you. We know how to use this really well. And this hopefully will make your life a whole lot easier.